There is a new effort to combat school bullying in New Jersey.
That's right. It comes after 14-year-old Adriana Kush was assaulted at Central Regional High School in Ocean County. She would later take her own life after the video went up on social media.
So now we hear state legislators are working on a bill to require all schools call police whenever bullying results in an injury.
So we're also hearing of more cases of bullying, specifically at Central Regional, where little was done after those cases were reported.
So joining us this morning to talk about Rachel is Rachel Odea, whose daughter says she was bullied at Central Regional as well, and their attorney, Jonathan Ettman. So we thank you both for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
It's such an important topic to talk about. And so, Rachel, I want to begin with you, right? How exactly, I guess, did you find out what was happening to your daughter? And what did you do in light of it? And what was the school's response?
So my daughter, Olivia, was receiving threatening text messages on a social media app back in December of 2021. She then was stalked in school from class, at which point she went to the administrators of the school, the principal and the vice principal, and not only told them about the stalking, but showed them the threatening text messages. The school did not do anything. They swept it under the rug. The girls proceeded to go on Christmas break. And when they returned from Christmas break, the girls that were involved in the stalking followed through on their promise and jumped my daughter from behind. One girl held my daughter's book bag as the other girl struck my daughter, and another girl recorded it.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
and then uploaded it to social media, of course.
You know, I can't imagine being, I have two young girls, 10 and almost 8, and I can't imagine being a mother and seeing this happening to your child, that helpless feeling that nothing is being done.
Unbelievably frustrating. I mean, the emotions that you feel, they're almost too big for your body. Mm-hmm. You don't know what to do. You don't know who to reach out to. Your first instinct is to reach out to the school, and you send your child to school with the understanding that they're there to provide a free and safe education to our children, specifically safe.
Yeah.
And when that is not being done, you don't know what to do with yourself. You really don't.
Yeah, and the Central Regional Board of Education accepted the resignation of their superintendent, and the district said, quote, they are evaluating all current and past allegations of bullying, end quote. So, Jonathan, let me turn to you now. So tell us about exactly the lawsuit that you're filing on Rachel's behalf and what kind of response you're getting.
Yeah, well, it's pretty straightforward, as Rachel just described the events, and she also mentioned kids going to school and being protected, and that is the law. The law imposes a duty on the schools to protect the children. They're responsible for their safety while they're in school. So in light of the fact that the threats were brought to the school's attention, and in light of the school's failure to respond at all, and the resulting assault on my client, on Olivia, and the harm that's resulted from this. And let me tell you, it's not just physical harm that comes out of a physical assault. These children are scarred emotionally. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we lose sight of the fact as adults, we don't see things through the lens of a child. But when you're a child in school and you're being bullied and you're being threatened and you're being assaulted, and then that assault, which is filmed and then disseminated on social media for all your peers, for strangers throughout the country to see. These videos that go up on TikTok or Reels or one of these platforms, you have 30,000, 100,000 people or more viewing it and commenting on it. And so the humiliation is just exponentially worse. And these kids suffer greatly as a result of it. And that's essentially the genesis of the lawsuit. The school failed to protect Olivia. They were given warning of this threat, and they didn't act. And now I have a child who's been severely harmed as a result.
Yeah, and the thing is, school is supposed to be a safe place. And as parents, we expect school to be that safe place. Well, last night, though, as I'm sure you saw, a packed school board meeting at Central Regional And once it got going, board members and the acting superintendent got an earful about the bullying. Let's listen to some of what folks had to say there, and then we'll talk to you on the other side.
Sure.
I did not know Adriana Coach, but that doesn't matter. That should not affect the facts, and I am angry and I am upset with every single one of you guys. You are here to protect the students, but the students do not feel protected.
Ugh, the fear and the grief that all these kids must be carrying, it just breaks my heart. Rachel, do you think that this meeting will help at all, especially after what you've experienced?
I hope so. I think that the school needs to admit that there's a problem before they can start to fix it. And there needs to be a serious inside investigation. There needs to be a seriousness that hasn't been had before. Mm-hmm. These situations have been treated previously with a cavalierness that their hands are tied, mm-hmm. or it's just forgotten or pushed under the rug. And the parents are outraged, and I can understand that.
It seems like, both my parents were educators, and in full disclosure, I was a student who was bullied when I was a kid, but it was a different world back then because social media didn't exist, right? You couldn't upload this. And it seems like a lot of schools sometimes will say, well, it's schoolyard politics, it's schoolyard, it's kind of what they expect to see, and then they sweep it under the rug, and that is not okay, right? So, Jonathan, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think that that's a big part of it. There's two things I'd like to say to that is one, we do have a culture that accepts that bullying is a rite of passage, which should not be.
Right.
And the second thing is, I think a big thing that we're talking about, and I heard a lot of parents last night talk about, is the difference of this being physical mm-hmm. assault, premeditated physical assaults, multiple individuals against a person that does not get a chance to defend themselves.
Do you think that
back in our day that wasn't how it was?
Yeah. So, Jonathan, I'm curious to know if you think police should get involved in what they're proposing here, that police get involved once it becomes violent, or should they get involved even earlier?
Well, yeah, I think there has to be a direct line of communication between the school and the local law enforcement. And typically there is, actually. There is a memorandum of agreement between police force and the local school district. I've seen in my experience, unfortunately, there's sometimes a disconnect. I've seen school districts that don't quite understand how that relationship really works and what their responsibilities are as administrators when there is an event that requires police intervention, or what they can do on their own to ensure the safety of other students when there's police involved. So, there has to be more education between the schools and the local law enforcement in terms of those rights and obligations and duties. So, but yes, I think the police should absolutely be involved, particularly where there's a threat of violence, mm-hmm. and certainly when a child is assaulted. Mm-hmm. It's just shocking to me, like in Adriana's case, that they didn't even bother calling the police.
Yeah. Rachel, first off, thank you for coming on and really talking about this and Olivia's story, because I'm sure it's not easy to talk about and relive that trauma over and over again. So I appreciate you kind of sharing this message. What is your message to other parents who have kids who may be being bullied and feel helpless about it because they also are hearing things being swept under the rug?
I would say reach out to your support system. I would really look into understanding your rights as a parent. Look at the different laws, make sure that your schools are following those laws, and really just make sure that you're the biggest advocate for your child.
Yeah. How is Olivia doing?
She's doing as good as anybody could be doing that went through something like this.
Well, we wish her our
and now
best.
grieving the loss of her classmate is just horrendous.
It certainly is. Well, we thank you both for coming on our show this morning and talking about this very sensitive but important topic.